Well, hello, my fellow car mailers. How are you all doing today? Thought I'd talk to you face to face in this one, and I just want to give you a little update on the Porsche build. Been working on it. I got some things to show you. All right, so this is an update on my Porsche. Chuck.
We are doing the Porsche group build. Porsche.
Like I said, it's like nails on a chalkboard for me. Anyways, some people are just unlearnable. Speaking of unlearnable, I got some great comments on my start of this, in my introduction to the beginning of this year's build, which is basically last year's build, continued. I don't usually do this, so I got an interesting comment that before you start blurting off stuff on things that I said or what I'm building, you better do your research first, because I had somebody, I'll just show it to you. Check this out.
Hey Luka, Porsches don't rust at the places you put the rust on. They are galvanized. Wink.
Really, man? Facts are, Porsches were galvanized in 1971, just the floors. And then in 1977, they finally galvanized the entire hull, body, everything like that. So, in fact, that Porsches do rust in the places that I rusted it on my 1973, because it would have only had galvanized floors, which I didn't rust the floors. They're just filthy dirty. Yep. So there you go. Now you've been learned. Don't go blowing your mouth off until you got the facts to back you up. That's all I'm saying, because I'll make you look stupid. Yeah, that was fun. Anyways, let's flip the camera down, and I'm going to give you guys a look-see at my little Porsche and what I've done so far. My little rusty Porsche.
What the heck?
God, Chuck, he's in my head now. Let's take a look. Kind of a little bit mocked up. I don't have the suspension done, but I'll show you what we got going on underneath. So we're getting to where we're looking kind of what we want. Here's a little bit of a side shot I took of the way it's sitting right here. And it's mocked up. It's sitting on something that's just holding the body up at a little bit higher than ride height, as you can see in this photograph that I just took. This is really focusing in on what I like. So we're going to take this up. It's already coming all apart. So anyways, what we got going on, I'll show you the chassis in a moment. Oh, I'm so pretentious. We'll look at the body here real quick. We've seen it a bunch. I haven't really done much to it, but I went ahead and kind of temporarily with white glue got that little back deck lid on. I talked about how I was literally just going to leave it in the white plastic, but I was going to do a little weathering to it to have it have that look of being like a white, old, aged fiberglass back deck lid. And as far as the rear bumper, well, at this point I can't find the rear bumper. I don't know where I just put it, and we just got to continue on with the video. The front bumper and the white bumper, the rear bumper, I was thinking of doing this kind of the same thing, having it look like a white fiberglass bumper, a little beat up. But the front bumper here, I'm gonna do some work to. I think I'm gonna paint this. I don't know. I want to paint it either red or maybe more like an orangish, like it's more faded and beat up. I do want to beat this up a bit, and here I'm gonna drill these out. It looks like there's just, if you can see, it just looks like it's screen in there. They're like little duct work on these. If these were brake ducts or just whatever, cooling areas, such, I don't know. I want to drill those out and put some screen behind it, or just leave them open. I kind of want to do that. But this, I think I will, I don't know yet exactly how I want to go about this, but I think I'm going to have this a color and have it really beat up because it's in the front. Where we're going is with these wheels and tires. These are the Porsche Steelies that I am coming out with in about a week. I got the molds in progress right now. These are 3D printed versions of the Masters I got. These are tires, not sure if this is what I want to go with yet. I kind of want a more 70s kind of square like that type wheel tire combo. It'll probably sit more up in there like that instead of it was like this in the mock-up. Kind of want to get it like that. I had these tires I showed once before. This is really the tire I want to go with. Of course, I'll clean it up. This is really the tire I want to go with, but let's get this. There's just not enough room. I don't want to start cutting up this chassis and modifying the rear. It doesn't fit in there. And boy, that would have been really cool to have that tire and wheel combination. It's just there's not enough room right here. So, because this is really the look I'm going for. That would totally make me happy. I love that trad pattern. I love the shape of this tire. It's just too dang big. I was thinking of I could do my take a section out and narrow it. I've got a few of these. I could do that. And then for the front tire, I have its match this version of it, which is too small for the rear. These are like 70s type vintage Goodyear racing rain tires. They used a tread pattern like this, and Goodyear still produces this tire actually. A lot of the vintage Trans Am cars run these. Yeah, I was thinking that would go good on the front right there. It's a good looking tire. The wheel, everything. The tire is 25th scale, unfortunately, but you know, the 24 scale of the car, and these are 24 scale 15-inch wheels. They do look a little bit big, but I'm telling you, these are 15-inch in 24 scale. You put them into a 25th scale tire, they might look a little bit big, but that right there is really the look I want. So I'm going to figure out a way. I think I am, no matter what, going to be going with this tire. I don't know yet. Again, in the comments below, let me know. I'm really, really liking this tire and wheel combo. The wheels, I'll probably paint them kind of like an industrial gray, very similar to the Porsches that have been the big influence on this build. Now let's show you what I've got going with the chassis, the suspension I got going. This I kind of went. I couldn't leave the stock suspension alone in the front, and I kind of, had to mess with it. I'm kind of going with like a 935 race car inspired front suspension. There's a lot of aftermarket companies that make these for Porsche 911s, and I kind of went looking at a bunch of those and kind of made up my own by recarving the stock suspension. And here is the stock front suspension from these kits. I had a fresh one right here just in case this didn't work out. And the stock suspension set up on a 911 of this vintage, they were a torsion bar. This is the spring right here, this torsion bar. Going with more of the race setup, we're going with coilover, so I turned the McPherson struts, I guess, is for lack of a better terminology. I wrapped myself my own coil spring and made them look like coilovers. You won't see them much from under there, so I didn't put a lot of time into it, but I just wanted to get that look. I basically just used some blue spark plug wire. That was that kind of spark plug wire that looks a little metallic. Yeah, whatever, it worked out good because you can kind of see the metal core through the transparent blue sheathing. So I thought that would give it the look. The spindle, I still got more parts to go on the spindle. That's why this is not yellow. You're not really going to see much of that. So it's a coilover setup with these more sport race type front end adjustable jing ding daggets. However they work like that. So also something else, a little detail here. If you guys are familiar with, this video here I made a couple years ago. I did the old handrail stanchions from the HO trains to give me the Heim joints here. And this is an aluminum tube just to give it that, oops, look, it came out of its little joint there. Haven't glued it in yet, but just to give it that kind of aftermarket race type of suspension. Gives it a pretty cool look. Just kind of made it look a little more fancier, because the way I look at it, like I said before, is this is a car that it looks beat up, but this is a guy, I want everything's still dirty. Didn't worry about the cleaning of anything. It's not a show car, but this thing is all about the ride and the performance going around the canyon roads. And I'm going to do some trick coilovers and stuff for the rear suspension and some modifications to the rear suspension to make it look like, and also kind of a little cleaner looking, like it's newer stuff. And I just wanted the suspension to look like it's been properly sorted. And that's the look. That's why, just in case this all failed on me, but it's all glued in. I'm pretty happy with the front suspension. I still got a anti-sway bar to put on there. Then now it's going to be on to the rear suspension, and that'll be for the next video. And then we've got the interior to go for. I got some plans for the interior that are pretty cool, but I do have a roll bar to put in here. But I'll get this thing mounted in here. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to paint it black. Then I want to kind of like take some chipping effects of rust colors and stuff and make it look like, the paint's chipped off and scraped where, you're getting in and out or bumping it or doing things. Just give it kind of a used look. The whole thing I'm going for is a real used look with this car. And I think that's how the roll bar fits in there. So that's the kit roll bar. Still together from this being a built up. It was already put together. I got it out of there without it breaking. But as long as I found the rear bumper, let's just do a quick look at the rear bumper up in there and see if this is something that is a look that we want to go with. There we go. I think I'm going to have that white bumper and all that like it's a fiberglass bumper, and I'll probably do a little bit of damage and roughing it up and doing a little weathering on those items just to give it a little more character. It's just something that I love the idea of doing with this model. It's a big part of this whole build is having that very, very used, purpose-built look. It's about the smiles per gallon, not the car show. Yeah, so it's coming into focus. I'm liking it. So that is my little 73 Porsche 911 non-galvanized body. So the rust is accurate. Proved it in this video. And you can see there's no rust on the galvanized floor. That's just filth and schmutz from 50 years of road use. And yes, if anybody noticed, I am going to get rid of those. Trust me. There will be no ejector pin marks on my model. Dang it. Because when I do take this to shows, I'm going to set this on something that will be mirrored underneath, that you can see the suspension and the schmutz. I want to show off all my schmutz. I like showing off my schmutz. So I hope you guys like that. I'm really having a lot of fun with this build. I'm enjoying it so much. I'm loving how it looks. Getting things kind of figured out. Just got to get them tires dialed in, see which I can find on tires. I got a few, like I showed you, ideas. But I'm really having fun with this. I got to get back on it here. We want to make sure it gets done on this one. I don't want to take a 30. I know I have a provision that I can take this onto next year, but I'd like to do other things next year. Let's get this one done. I'm really dying to get this one done. It's looking so cool. I want to hear your opinions down in the comments below on what you see, the ideas that I have for it. I like hearing what you guys have to say. If you go, hey, no, that looks cool, or why don't you do this? I may or may not do it. I don't know, but I like hearing what people think. I like the opinions, as long as it's researched and you're not trying to tell me that I'm doing something wrong that I'm not doing wrong. That, I'm going to call you out on it. That's for sure. So I want to thank you all for watching. This was a lot of fun. Be sure to go over to the Porsche, whatever it's called. Geez, I keep screwing that one up. You want to get involved in the group build, you can go over to the Luka C model Porsche. I don't have it up. I don't know. You'll find it. It's the Luka C Porsche model car hobby headquarters. Porsche model Porsche hobby headquarters. It's something like that. Chuck's Hobby Spot and BG's Model Workshop. And now we have another great Facebook group that's in our whole little clan here, is the podcast. The Scale Model Car Podcast has a Facebook group. If you listen to the podcast, or you haven't started listening to podcasts, because if you're watching this, you're one or the other. There's two types of people. There's people that listen to the podcast and people that are going to listen to the podcast who watch this channel. And so you want to get onto that Facebook group to know what's going on with the podcast. And of course, because this group build is a part of the podcast, then of course you can go to that Facebook group too. Everything's in the description below. Thank you a ton for watching. We'll see you in the next show. And you know what we say here, you got to. We haven't done this in a while, right? Are you ready? Just keep on gluing those fingers together and keep on cutting that styrene, and we'll see you in the next video, right? Here's the producers.